Hello everyone, my name is Binks and welcome back to Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we will be continuing on in the second case of the game, the Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Alright, so we are now really getting in the midst of the flashback case where we are investigating. Alright, so we are going to speak to our client, our frequent flyer client, as I like to call him. Oh, you fool. Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell! But, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back. Oh, I forgot we had her in this outfit. So I am going to keep that DLC on until we can see all three of them in their outfits. And then I'll switch them back. It's fine. It's a flashback case. That's why I'm like, it's fine. It's hard to believe that was only yesterday. After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings. And that evening at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shamspeare. So you did go to the victim's room then? As we feared. I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before. It was the first time. Then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Garridub said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening, at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I'd brewed as a gift. Ah. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then? And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Bringing him the tea that was poisoned is not a good look for you, bro. If it was the tea. I'm still a little sus if it was the tea, actually, because there might have been some other method of poisoning. I'm still a little, Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet. Who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate. What, were Romeo and Juliet fighting? I'm sure. Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare. Unless you just mean, like, stronger willpower? Like, what do you mean by stronger? Mentally stronger? What a weird debate. And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shamspeare's tea? No, never, not at all. What the hell, man? Team Juliet won, that was me, and when I left this room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit, I swear it, categorically. Okay. Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me. It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out.
It makes me scared to leave my room.
Oh, that's so sad.
Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember. And then 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road.
But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. I'm sure that's all he could afford.
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed.
Cursed? Cursed how?
The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Yep, that's usually how these curses begin, right? The rumors.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why.
I mean, things happen, right? Especially back then, they couldn't do like an autopsy. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have the technology to figure out how he had died. Brain aneurysm, heart attack, I don't know. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. Unless there's something wrong in the building. And that could be connected to what happened to Shamspear. Although Shamspear was lucky enough to survive, right?
I didn't. When the letting
agent, I guess, would be like the real estate agent, maybe?
When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered.
Yeah, probably.
But I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love books, but I think he's a little too extreme with that huge pile of books he had in his room.
When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning.
I think my bad habit is that I have so many books, but I don't find or take the time to read them. It's hard because I have so many other things that I prioritize over reading because I prioritize housework whenever I can, and you know, I have to, right? And then for fun, this is what I do, which is the recording and editing, which is a high priority for me now. And then on my phone, I'm always either reading manga online or playing the one mobile game I play. Anyway, as usual, Binks going into tangents.
When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning.
Brave or blinkered?
But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful?
I think the top solution would be if I could do this for a living, but I don't see that happening. I don't see me able to make money doing this. To be streaming streaming as a career is so hard. People who are able to do that, like, kudos to y'all. They gotta put like so much hours into it, right? Like these top Twitch streamers and stuff. I don't know how they do it. Horrible history. Because to be sitting in front of a computer screen all day just doing my regular job is exhausting. I can't imagine doing it while having to play games and be entertaining. That's tiring. Just recording episodes, I get tired if I had to do it for, you know, a few episodes back to back. I can't imagine having to stream 4 or 5 hour streams. That's tiring. How do y'all do it? All you youngins.
Horrible history.
How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. A feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me.
Do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you?
No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place.
A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean?
All the souls who've died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me. I thought it was only one.
That really is horrible.
And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night, too. The very same night that Mr. Shamspeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room. Okay. I'm sus, y'all. Suffocation would imply that there's, like, poor ventilation? Like, there's something wrong with the air quality in the building? And maybe that's how the other tenant died? And it has something to do with the poisoning? Because weren't they talking about, what was it, the gas meter or something? I think there's something wrong with the gas meter or, like, the ventilation or something, like, in the building. Because they were talking about also, like, sharing, what was it, the lights or whatever? Like, yeah, the gas, right? Because when one person turns on their lights, that he could tell, because then his lights dim and all of that. So yeah, definitely already kind of figuring out that that's what's going on. So I think that they're already thinking that the tea was poison, but then they're gonna see that that's not the cause of death, and they're gonna have to figure out that it's gas related. Okay, so poisoning by gas rather than the other type of poisoning. So I'll give them that. So at least I'm like, it's a different type of poison. Yay, it's not the other typical kind of poisoning that I was mad about. Yay, it's different. Yay, Binks is happier. Environmental poisoning, that's actually much more... That's really different, actually. I'm happy now. Okay, alright. I mean, it's sad. It's actually really tragic, because then it's like, is there an actual murderer? Are they gonna blame Garida? Like, if it's something he didn't know about, if it's something like... Because nowadays they could blame the landlord, but if this was back then, and if he didn't know, and this was like, you know, old buildings and poor quality workmanship, I don't know if he could be held responsible. But nowadays they're like, oh, the landlord should have known, he should have fixed this, blah blah blah. But if he didn't know, then nobody's responsible, unless they're gonna blame, like, I don't know, the gas company or whatever who provided the gas. But I don't know, I guess back then they would have had like a gas company. Somebody has to be providing gas, right? I don't know, I'm jumping ahead. I'm just trying to figure out, like, who's responsible for this then. I guess the landlord. Oh, snap. Anyway. I'm already... this is how my brain works, y'all. I'm already jumping ahead. I'm so sorry. As usual, don't confirm any of... this is what Binks does. Binks's brain just goes going... zoom, zoom, like 5 miles. 5 miles ahead, my brain just going... just can't stop. I'm so sorry. If you were to ever watch a show or a movie with me, this is what happens. I feel so sorry for, like, my mom, or... I try not to, but I do it a lot. It's either really enjoyable, or it's awful, because I ruin it. Because the person watching with me is like, oh, you spoiled it like halfway through because you already figured it out. I'm like, I'm sorry. All the signs were there. Like the build up. And it's like, they have to build it up, right? They have to drop the clues, but also they're making it so obvious so early on. Oh, but at the same time, I like it when they make it obvious. But I don't know. Because sometimes people get mad if they don't make it obvious, right? If it just comes out of nowhere, they're like, what? It wasn't obvious. You guys just pulled that out of nowhere. But sometimes I get happy with it when it comes out of nowhere because I'm like, oh, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. Whoa. Especially if it makes sense because you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh, why didn't I figure that out? Cool. I like those kind of twists that I didn't see coming. And I'm like, oh, I should have seen that. Oh, cool. I love it when I get shocked. Because when I get shocked, I'm like, you did a great job. You got me. I get really, really happy when that happens. So if they get me in this game, if they really, really get me, I will give them huge kudos. Alright, let's move on.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, I know it, and that's why I'm already searching for the next room with the history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Oh,
Oh, Susato-san knows how to make the man listen.
of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well.
You mean Mr. Garridub?
Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again.
Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements.
Oh, that makes sense. So rather than him being like part of a conspiracy, he's legit like concerned and worried, like, are they still alive? See, I don't think, okay. Because he doesn't seem like, I mean, he's kind of a jerk, but he also doesn't seem like an evil person. Because he did kind of like, in the last game, he did tell his wife, all right now, honey, you gotta take responsibility for what you did. You know, the accident. So he's seriously, honestly, like, please tell me they're not dead. Oh, that's really sad. He's like, please don't die. Oh.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms.
What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear. No, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well.
What's important is that Mr. Shamspear isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come round and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released.
Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. Who is this? Ahem, excuse me. Oh. Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson.
Well, I couldn't help overhearing what you just said. And on that note, let me guess. He came around, but he's not gonna help us release our client. So, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sure this dude is actually just gonna implicate you or something. Because he probably legit doesn't even know, and he's just gonna assume because you gave him the tea, he's gonna think you poisoned him, so... I'll have some good news and some bad news. Oh! Which do you want first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is. Huh?
Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why did you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, is just unconscious. He's come round now.
Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. Uh-oh, I have to sneeze.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we've managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness, it's all over then. I can leave this somber cell.
Nope. Thought so.
Sorry, no, it's not on the cards. What?
Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone?
Oh dear.
You don't mean? I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Ah! By sweet poison that he seeketh to end my life. That wicked caitiff, Soseki Natsume.
Caitiff? Okay.
No.
So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations. No!
Yep.
And so, once again, Saseki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him.
Oh, to be continued? Yep. Alright. Well, we'll keep going. Yeah. Sure. Where should I save this? Does it even matter? Sure. Yeah, trial. February 22nd, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange.
Well, this is before they took away your right to practice, so cool.
I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon.
That's my line!
I'm assuming it's him. Yep.
Good morning!
Literally the next day for him. Poor guy. Kind of like what Ryunosuke went through, right? Being back to back for him in the first game. Oh, after like seriously, the first two cases he was suspected back to back. So this is something that a lot of people are going through, just like Maya. So you're our new Maya.
Ryunosuke's like, dude, I've been there, done that, so it's a rite of passage.
I just like that our assistant, our judicial assistant, is not the one going through this. It's the men who are going through this now. Yeah! Progressive!
Good morning, Mr. Natsume.
It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here.
Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back.
But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. I can't keep coming to court.
I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed.
Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh. Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Yes, morning.
So, here we are again.
Yes, again. We just gonna pretend you didn't just come in here talking about bad news?
What bad news?
Judicial Assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires, what's the bad news?
Oh dear, you heard, did you?
If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've done nothing wrong, Mrs. Sato. Now, what is it?
Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Lord Baroque von Zeeks.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess they didn't want to have to create a new prosecutor, so yeah, not too surprised. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, it would have been cool to get a new prosecutor for this game, but it's fine. He's interesting, and I'd like to learn more about him, get a backstory for him finally.
Van Zeeks.
Oh no. Oh no, no, not that vampire! That flamboyant, dramatic vampire who's so sexy even Biggs is like, oh my! He's gonna throw a bottle at me!
Yep, there he is. The sexy man himself. He's cool. He's kind of a douche, but he's cool. He's like in the middle of the pack for me. Like, I don't dislike him even though he's kind of racist and kind of a jerk. But I don't hate the guy. Like, he's alright. Like, he's shown little glimpses of being somewhat decent, but also being racist and kind of a jerk. Like, he's a sign of the times, right? His music is badass. But also, like, dude, you need to calm down with throwing these chalices in the bottles and, like, and the racism. Like, just chill, bro. Chill, bro. He's like an even more uptight version of Edgeworth. You're not cool enough to be Edgeworth, but whatever.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land.
If only he wasn't so freaking sexy and so dramatic. Super extra. Extra.
In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Soseki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth. We managed to pull through, but still.
Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter, after all.
Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says, nothing could save a person in the dock when Lord Von Zeeks is the prosecutor.
Oh no!
But you're still alive, so...
That even if that person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another.
And we've experienced it firsthand.
I mean, that one guy died, but that's about it, right? And he was a jerk anyway, so...
A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal. Right here in the Old Bailey.
Ah, do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits, and now by the Reaper! Pair of petrifying perils, potentially!
Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
Yes?
I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You more than anyone now.
Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle. I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear.
We got this.
Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. You should move into the courtroom.
Let's go.
No Sherlock? Not gonna make an appearance?
Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it.
Aw, want to see his outfit.
Mr. Holmes, I mean.
That's probably for the best.
Oh,
If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zeeks were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling.
Mr. Naruhodo.
You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Well said.
I swear on the sword at my side, and on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free with honor.
Oh yes.
Okay. Oh, just the thought of him carrying a sword with Kazuma's soul. Aw. Alright, 9:40 now. Okay. I thought I saw some familiar faces in the jury. Ugh, I forgot I have to voice act for all the jurors. No. Why? Dagnabbit, I don't remember what voice I gave. Ugh, there's too many people to voice. Excuse me.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
Freaking vampire. Clearly they're doing this on purpose, so okay. Yeah.
The prosecution is ready.
Ah, look at that outfit. Oh my god. Is that a little mouse on his shoulder? That is so cute. He looks like Iris, like a little inventor. Oh, the goggles and the little mouse. I love it. I love it. He looks so good. That's a good look for you. I mean, he always looks good, but he looks really good. Okay. I do like these DLC outfits. They look so good. Yes. Yes.
The defense is ready, my lord.
Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs.
Is that the voice I gave him? Like, kind of like German? Or I don't remember. Whatever.
What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat.
I guess, right? I'm assuming that's what I gave him.
It's not just in my imagination. It's really there. Lord Van Zeeks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason.
It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe.
And their colors, her colors and his together look really nice. Ah, I love it. Love it. Color coordination, yes.
These past few years,
He's barking.
he hasn't appeared in court at all.
Yet now he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. It's like he has a crush on me or something.
Yes, I'd like to crush you, like I do this bottle.
This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Saseki-san's trial.
Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty?
Oh, it is you. You were a juror before, and you were one of the suspects too, weren't you? I don't remember. Weren't you the one who bit on your cane a lot or whatever? One of the guys in, like, the coach? You had a weird habit. Yeah, you used to bite on your cane or something.
Absolutely, I had a feeling this larkin wasn't innocent before.
You were a juror too. I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right.
Sure. Oh, you were a juror too. They just keep bringing these people back. I don't remember. I don't know.
Oh well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually.
Oh, she's new.
I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick.
Oh, you! Yeah, you're like the pavement guy or something? Like a construction worker?
I couldn't agree more. I'll need to take home 5 bob tonight or the missus will go through the roof.
Oh, the, like, forgetful dude. Yeah. Okay, they're gonna keep bringing these people back. Can you imagine? Like, in this world, in modern day, like, to get selected for jury duty is a pain. But it's rare, right? To get selected over and over again, back then, must... that must suck.
Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict.
Weren't you the one who, like, fell and got hurt or something? I don't know. Because we thought, like, there was some confusion between you and what happened to Miss Green. Because you had fallen over or something. It's just, what are the chances? Like, the same people, half of you.
The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt.
6 citizens of London chosen at random. Or at least that's the idea, because they are all very familiar except for one lady.
The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today.
Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord von Zieks, your opening statement, please.
I think the only one they replaced was Garadeb, right? Because I think he was the one who was in the middle? I can't remember. I feel like he was.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime. Namely, that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. to explain the circumstances of the crime. The prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand.
There he goes.
The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector, Scotland Yard's Homicide Division.
Ah, Seki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture.
Mr. Natsume,
Yes, my lord, sir.
I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. I remember it as if it were yesterday.
The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough.
Ugh, believe me, this is the last place I want to be.
Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. What you are, sir? The incident occurred at the Garadeb household, where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shamspeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine. He was found the following morning.
Strychnine. Then if it was gas... So, were they really able to determine that? Was strychnine in the gas? I need to hear more about that, because now I'm like, Okay. Sorry. Just thinking.
He was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door.
This means, I presume, that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident.
Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, lives to tell tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked.
What's that water on the floor? Under the gas box, right? Was that there when we were there? That's a big puddle. That's very sus to me. I don't remember... Very sus.
Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased.
That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what he was.
Very well. I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court.
Okay. Victim can be seen unconscious at the table, having been poisoned. Got it.
Now then, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, yes.
As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture?
They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits.
Good gracious, what's haunted?
My lodgings. There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one in the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me? What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times.
Killed Mr. Natsume? How?
Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long...
He lit his gas stove before he went to bed. And then he felt that suffocation feeling. See? Something's up with the gas, yo.
But before long, the stove went out and somebody tried to kill me.
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume.
But it's so cold, my runny nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed?
So then that's why he's always feeling like he's suffocating if he's always leaving his stove on. Oh boy. That is really dangerous, dude. Really.
Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events.
If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal. And he has named the true culprit.
Uh-oh.
The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question.
So you verified this yet? Is that what you're saying?
Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief. Order, order! Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. If Saseki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him? Well, Mr. Natsume, what have you decided this accusation?
That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never!
The public pump was frozen, you say?
That's not information we've heard before.
That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection.
None whatsoever, my lord.
Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now.
Yes, my lord.
Alrighty. Whew. But I think we will do that in the next episode. I am already like, my throat. Alright. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm interested to see what's going to happen and what little details we can possibly poke holes in order to hopefully get something to work with here, because right now it's not looking too good for him. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying this. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye.